Hey everybody, it's Barbara. Today I'm going to show you how to make this banner using pennants like the one I just showed you there. We're going to start with by using the jumbo fishtail flags banner stacks to cut our base pieces. We're going to cut 3 different sizes. One out of corrugated paper, one out of pink lemonade paper, cardstock, and one out of primitive white cardstock. The primitive white cardstock is stamped with Damask background and pink lemonade dye ink. I'm using Kraft ink to distress the edges of pretty much every piece that you'll see. So for the base, we'll just adhere all 3 of these pieces together. It makes a nice firm base with the 3 layers that can hold a lot of embellishments. I like the corrugated cardstock for banners because most of my banners I do in sort of a vintage theme, and I think that really ties in. Then I'm going to show you layer by layer as we come up. The next thing I'm using is the heart doily. This, as you could see at the beginning, is a Valentine's banner. The next layer is the leaf fill flourish, and it's cut from gumdrop green cardstock. Next is the layered heart border, and that's going to be our header at the top. I'm using the corrugated paper for the top layer and pink lemonade cardstock for the bottom layer. And for this I will just use some liquid glue to put the 2 layers together. And then we will come back to it later. But it will be ready to go as soon as I need it. Now the next layer that we're going to be using for our pennant is a rosette, and we're going to make that by you can use either plain cardstock, but I wanted mine stamped because I wanted a pattern, so I'm using excuse me, both the sheet music background and romantic script background alternatingly for these. Now the pieces are cut. And by the way, I'm going to show you that stylus. It's a Stampin' Up! Stylus that I really love. I wear out the bone styluses that come with my Score Buddy. I've been through so many of them. So I got the Stampin' Up! Metal stylus, and I love it. So your piece of cardstock for this will be 6 inches by 1 1/4 inch. You will score it at 1/4 inch intervals. And then you will start to fold it. And you will just fan fold it. I think you can see the score lines there. So then you'll start to fan fold it, mountain and valley, until the whole thing is done. Just like that. And I've already got some done, so I won't take the time to do all that. So you will put some really strong adhesive at both ends of one piece. You'll need 4 little pieces. I don't know if you could really see that or not, but the mountain and the valley, actually 2 valleys on the wrong side, you'll need a little piece of the tape. It needs to be very strong, and you'll see why in just a little bit. So then you will connect your 2 pieces together. If you have stamped them, and if the stamping has an orientation, make sure that you've got both of them going in the same direction. And you'll need to make sure that you have one of those edges really even. It doesn't matter which one. Only one will show when it's done, but make sure that one of those edges is even. Then you'll take your covering off of your score tape or whatever tape you're using on the other end. Join that to make a circle, and make sure that your edge that you are making even is the same edge on this end as it was on the other side. And then I usually just since that's double paper there, I usually just kind of fold them again to make sure you've got a nice crease. You're also going to need a couple of circles, one for the back and one for the front. I use circle stacks for this, and for the front I use the stitched circle stacks. The back can be done from scrap paper, doesn't have to be anything fancy, but the front is going to be showing, so you want that to be part of your design. So then you turn it wrong front side down and flatten it out. It's a little pesky to get this done sometimes. It has a mind of its own, but if you will just hang with it, you can subdue it. Once you've got it down, then you're going to fill all of those valleys with adhesive, and I find that hot glue is by far the best choice for this. Then you take your scrap circle and slap it down on there. Press it down really, really hard, and then push all of your folds to the center really tight. Press down hard. You want that hot glue to get into those valleys on the back side really well, or it's going to be lumpy and it won't lay flat with your finished product. Then you're going to do the same thing on the front. Now on the back, that circle, it doesn't matter if it gets off center a little bit, but the front does matter because it's going to show. So make sure when you put that down you've got that centered. Also really mash it down firmly to get your glue into those valleys, because if you don't, it will pop up your circle. Next on our layer is a heart stacks cut from the corrugated paper, and then we have the letter, whatever you want, and for this I'm using high-rise alphabet die-namics. I'm embellishing this with mini royal roses and royal leaves, die-namics dies. I've already created some of my roses, but I'm going to show you how to put one together. I'm using gumdrop green cardstock for the leaves on this. So I'm using a quilling tool to roll my flower. You don't have to use a quilling tool. I think it makes it easier, but curved forceps like I just showed you work pretty well if you don't want to invest in a quilling tool. So you just start at the outside edge in the slot in your quilling tool and just roll, and you have to hold it really snugly with your other hand while you're rolling. Once it's rolled, I usually let it go loose a little bit, and then you can see that's the top petal at the top there, and then there's kind of a round area. The round area is where you're going to put your hot glue. Excuse me again. And then you're going to push your center down very firmly onto that hot glue, and once you do that, it won't move. And now I'm going to sponge this with my Kraft ink. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to show you how I put them together. This petal right here kind of sticks out a little bit, so I am going to put the second rose on that petal so that they're really snug together. And then I'm going to attach it to my leaf cluster. And there you have that embellishment ready to go. So now we're going to put it all together. The base is already glued. Oh, and this little spacer I made with the heart stacks, and also the smaller pink glitter is from the stitched heart stacks. I'm using a gumdrop green button and some hemp cord on it. So now we're going to put it together. The first layer that we're going to add is the heart doily with just some hot glue. And then the leaf fill flourish is next. Just lay that down. Once you glue your rosette down, it's not going anywhere. And I just put some more hot glue on there and mash it down really firmly, otherwise you will get more dimension under there than you really want. The layered heart border gets attached with some foam tape because that's acting as a header. And the next one, I'm just going to adhere the heart with tape runner. And then the final thing is the letter, and I've got that popped up on foam tape. So as you see, you have plenty of dimension with this. You don't want your hot glue not being mashed down to give you more. Now the only thing we have left to do is to add our little roses, and I'll do that with hot glue as well. Put a bead on there and make sure that gets mashed down in those valleys. As you can see, I think. And then we're going to add the last little one. And now our pennant is done, and we have our spacers done. I'm going to put it all together now, and I'm really going to speed this up, but I think you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. I'm using a heavy jute cord to hang them all together. I laid them all out in the order that they will be put together, and then turn them all upside down just like that. I think that makes it easier to not get your letters mixed up. So I'm going to run a really heavy bead of hot glue on the back of the pennant and the spacer, and then just push my hemp cord down into it. As you can see, I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch between each element, and that's because when you hang it, it's going to drape a little bit so that the center is lower than the ends. You don't want each element to impinge on each other, so they need just a little bit of space. You can't put them right up against each other, or they will hit each other and possibly bend some of your cardstock. So like I said, I'm going through this really fast, but it's just repeating the same thing over and over. Now we got the last spacer at the end, and I don't know why I do it, but I always save the very first spacer for last. It's just what I do. So I'm going to do that now. And while that's setting up, I'm going to show you how I make the loop at the end for hanging. And I usually hang these on just little command hooks. So what you do is trim it off, add another bead of hot glue, and just loop it over and glue it down. Exactly like you did the first part, it's just underneath the first layer of hemp. And now you have a loop on each end, and it's ready to hang. I love doing banners, and I hope you will too. Thanks for watching.